Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is the semi-final of the Drennan Knock Out Cup. And where are we? None other than big weight mecca Rolf Lake in Oxford. Now, this is a venue that many anglers would love to fish. The regulars here often catch 2, 3, even 400-pound bags of carp, so it is a really prolific venue. Today, there's just 4 anglers fishing. We've got Michael Buckwelder, Rob Wootton, Chris Van der Vliet and Simon Willsmore. Those 4 anglers have qualified from the original star lineup of over 100, the first round being at Woodland View way back some months ago. So they've done fantastically well to get this far. But what are they competing for? Well, this is what they're competing for. A fantastic trophy, home to some real star names over the years there, and also they are competing for the title of the 2012 Drennan Knock Out Cup champion. So, without further ado, let's see what might be in store for the anglers today. Let's have a chat with venue owner John Bennett. Right, and John, so tell me a little bit about the venue's recent form.
Okay, with the weather patterns this year, it's been up and down like most fisheries. We've had some tremendous weights. Only last weekend we had a 360, which is a new record for this year. The lake record itself is 530.
Crikey.
So it is a big fish water.
That's 5 hours.
5 hours. That's all we fish is 5 hours. Yes.
That's quite incredible.
Yes. Yeah. We're renowned for our big fish and the quality of fish, which makes us different from most other pools.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to think that's part of the reason we're here today.
Yeah, I mean, I said already, it's a venue that many anglers would love to fish,
yes,
and often don't get the chance and things, which is why we wanted to bring this round here.
Yeah, which is fabulous news for us. It's a lot of people get the wrong impression of the venue. They see the weights and think it's got to be easy, but it isn't. It's a very tricky venue, and these guys here today will hopefully get the results from that.
Yeah.
They're true quality anglers. Hopefully they will produce the goods today, which would be nice.
Yeah, so we've got just 4 of them on the lake today.
Yeah.
Loads of room.
Yes.
Normally you'd have 20 in a match or so.
Yes, yeah.
So what might they expect today? What might be a winning tactic?
The tactic at the moment is that most regulars are fishing sort of short, 5 to 6 metres, hard banded paddock. It's really tight, feeding lightly over the top, suddenly going to the water column consistently.
Right.
Not catching many fish in the first part of the match, but coming on really strong towards the end of the match.
Yeah.
Where you can expect possibly 100, 150 pounds in the last hour.
Really?
So it's one of these waters which you never ever give up on. And the standard of fish, you can easily come from nowhere to the front in an hour.
I mean, the average carp is £10 plus?
It's getting on that weight. Under normal circumstances, we actually weigh anything over £10. So I should have said possibly 60% of the fish are normally already been weighed.
Yeah.
And then anything less is usually in the nets.
Yeah, sure.
So,
and obviously we're talking all about the carp today, but let's not forget that it's home to an awful lot of silverfish as well. We've
got some very good quality bream coming out at the moment, and if somebody gets into them early part, that will help building up a sort of bit of a backing weight at the early part of the match. And there's always carp in amongst them as well. So it's possible to get 30, 40 pound of silvers early part of the match. Some quality roach coming out at the moment as well, particularly on sweet corn. So if one of the guys can get it into his head, just to sort of build up a little bit of a backing weight early doors, it might make a difference towards the final result.
So you think that could actually make a winning plan today?
It could do, yeah. And then if I was fishing it, I would have a look for the carp straight away, go in very lightly, sort of softly approach. If I wasn't into fish straight away, I would possibly put a bit of bait in and have a look elsewhere to try and find something to build the weight early doors.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And we've picked 4 very even pegs today, haven't we, for all the anglers, to make it literally as fair as we possibly can.
What we've done, we've selected pegs which anglers have got to feature, sort of 16 metres in directions, which gives them long pole works, features to fish to, and it's the 4 fairest pegs in that area I could produce. And even our regulars today cannot predict which one of those pegs will be the winner. It's almost impossible. We cannot predict it.
Well, unfortunately for you, that's one of the things I'm going to ask you. Were you a betting man?
Yes.
Which 2 anglers are going to qualify today, do you think?
Okay. Because we got bright sunlight, I think the pegs in the shade, which is 10 and 13, if those edges come to light, early doors, I think there will be the winning pegs, 10 and 13. They got nice long edges with shade, whereas on 27 and 31, you're in direct sunlight, and you will be in sunlight for quite a bit of the day. The fish will possibly move into the margins later in the match, but I think the 10 and 13 will have the edge, and I think that edge might be just enough.
Okay, so there we've got Michael Buckwalder on 10, Chris Van der Vliet on 13.
Yes, yeah. Of the two, possibly 13, Chris, would be my favourite.
Right, okay. Well, you put a stake in the ground, well done.
I have, yeah.
Against all odds.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Okay, let's see what happens throughout the rest of the match. Okay, so there's about an hour and a half of the match left to go. Things are really starting to hot up. Joe's been keeping the scores on the doors. Who's out in front?
Rob Wotton's flying at the minute. He's got 22, 23 carp for probably 220 to 250 pounds, something like that.
So that's in 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours, yeah. And Chris Van der Vliet's not far behind now. He's really motoring now.
So Bud had a good early start. What's happened to him?
I don't know. The sun's up in his peg, and it's like there's no carp there.
So I've noticed in Chris's peg there's quite a bit of shade down the margin.
Yeah,
that's making a difference.
Seems to be. Yeah, everyone who's catching's got really shady water, and whether that's making a difference or what, I don't know. But he's struggling now, is Michael. So which is a shame.
And what about Si?
Yeah, Si's coming good now. He's catching down the edge. He's just had a real big fish. Like,
20?
Yeah, getting close. So
we think there's been a few 20 sports today, don't we? People have been sneaking them in, haven't they? So
we'll see.
Well, so it's still all to play for. No one's written off just yet. Okay, so I'm still here with Simon Mown. Simon is the 2012 venue record holder. He's had some fantastic weights this season, topped off by a 360 best.
Yes.
So just talk us through some of the weights you've had running up to that.
Well, I was on peg 32, and my previous best was 220, and then on peg 32 I had 226 pounds, and then I had 315 on peg 16, and then I had my 360.
They're incredible weights, aren't they?
Yes.
They really are. So we've asked John for his input on the sort of tactics that the lads might employ today. How did you catch your big weights?
I caught all my fishing in the margin, about 3 foot deep, with a toss pot, feeding it with a toss pot, and dropping a single 8mm pellet down, banded with the feed. And as soon as the feed hit the bottom, the carp sucked in my feed and the pellet, and then that was it.
See, John seemed to think it was quite important to have some bait going through the water column all the time, and obviously your weights were caught doing the same sort of thing.
I did exactly the same with all the weights I did here.
Yeah.
Very important, I think, not to have too much bait in the swim, because you just get foul hookers. And
what about elastic? Obviously, they're fishing for quite big fish. Elastic and line strengths.
I'm using 024 Preston at the moment with a Guru MGW hook, size 14.
Strong kit.
Yeah, on a 9 pound hook length. Elastic wise, pink vest. It's just awesome stuff through top 2.
Yeah, because obviously there's a black hydro limit on puller kits, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't use a puller kit at all.
You just use it standard through the top?
Yeah, straight through the top 2.
Now, one of the key things I've noticed here, if we're talking to some of the lads, it's not about rushing, is it? It's about getting every fish out that you hook.
So if you tend to pull sideways, the fish come up to the top, and you can net them pretty quick. But the more you pull, the more they pull, so you've got to be quite light with how you get them in, really. Yeah. Get them in a lot faster, pulling less.
Brilliant. Yeah. And what sort of size fish did you catch in your 360 best?
The biggest was 18.8, and I had a lot of 10 pounders and 11 pounders. I had 19 fish on the board for 223, and I had 17 in the net.
Incredible fishing.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here from the 2012 master. Let's see how the lads get on.
Thank you.
Well, that's it. The results are in. They've all been counted. Today's match winner Rob Whitton and second Simon Wilsmore, both progressing to the final at Docklow Pools. One thing's for sure, it's going to be an epic battle between these two fantastic anglers. And just briefly, Rob, how's your match gone today?
To be honest, I expected to catch quite a few fish shallow early on. Weather's been quite nice today, quite sunny. And it's not really gone as planned. I've only caught one fish in sort of the first hour. A lot of people are catching more fish on the short line, 5 metre deep line, so I've started feeding that a little bit earlier than I planned to do so. Probably after about 20 minutes started getting bites on that, corn and pellets, and caught on that, and then margins have caught late on, last hour, so yeah, it's been really good. And it's loads of fish.
Worms and ground bait down the edge for you as well?
Yeah, potting in ground bait. I've used a mix of like swim stim green and a bag of ringers, so 2 bags of ground bait, potting that loose in, and fishing double worm over the top.
Yeah, and you've had about 36 carp, was it?
Oh, I haven't counted my fish, but yeah, quite a few. I think fish. You're playing them for so long, so it's a good match. What a venue, really good venue.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it well. I mean, 30 odd fish for £300 is pretty fantastic,
isn't it? Good average, they're a good average, I would say that.
And what about your match, Si?
Well, my match started slowly, and for 3 hours really I struggled, and then I caught down the edge, similar to Rob, fishing at worm, coupling ground bait. And this bank had the sun behind us for the last stage of the match. It made a bit of shadow on the edge. I think that was that made the difference, and having that late on helped rather than on the other bank. I've had the sun in the edge, so I've probably been a bit favoured on this side for catching down the edge late on.
Well, it's been ever so close for the qualification place today. I mean, you're only just £2 ahead of Chris Van der Vliet. I mean, obviously he'll be kicking himself over that. And as you say, the sun for Michael was also unfortunately qualified. You know, it was on him all day, and I really do think that bright sunshine's ruined it a bit for him.
I think you're right, because I couldn't catch anything to start with until the sun came behind us. And so I've suffered at the start, and they've suffered at the end.
Yeah, it really has.
It's been a close, good match though. So.
Okay, and you've been close to making the final a number of times, haven't you? So how does it feel to actually make the final?
If I hadn't got through this time, I don't know what I would have done. So I made it.
Good, good, good. And what about you, Rob?
Yeah, great, mate. I've been top 8 a few times, and you know, always going out top 8. So when you get to the top 4, you really make an effort to try hardest. And you know, touch and go whether I make it or not. So obviously, my missus giving birth a couple of days ago, but you know, I'm here, and you know, put the effort in, and it's paid off, I suppose.
Yeah, new dad and
good
place
week.
in the final.
Yeah, good week.
Brilliant week.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, you're not going to want to miss the final, where they're going to be each competing for this plus a fantastic £5,000 cheque from Drennan. Don't miss it.